In real estate, you can be either on the buy side, which is the principal side of the business, or you can be on the sell side, which is the brokerage side of the business. But which side of the business actually fits you best based on your personality and where you want to go in your career? That's what we're going to cover in today's video. For first dibs on all new real estate financial modeling and career training videos, make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell to be notified every time I release a new video. Now, I often have students asking me questions whether or not they should go down the brokerage path or down the principal side path, so I wanted to create a video that would talk about the differences between the two and where your career might go depending on which one you choose. So if you're in the first few years of your career and you're trying to decide which path you want to take, by the end of this video, you'll know if brokerage or the principal side makes the most sense for you right now. So first, let's get this out of the way. Let's talk about money. On the brokerage side, there's a ton of upside for you, and your upside really isn't capped. And for an analyst or associate role, you're going to be working a lot, and probably more than you'd be working on the principal side. But if you're on the right team, your all-in compensation could be as high as $200,000 or $250,000 a year if you're in a strong market working for a strong team just 1, 2, or 3 years out of college. That said, the hours to earn this are oftentimes really grueling and can mimic some investment banking type hours where you get in the office at 7, 8, or 9 a.m. and don't leave until midnight, 1 a.m., or 2 a.m. Now, on the principal side, you'll usually see the opposite. So your hours are usually a little bit more tame, but making $200,000 a year just straight out of college as an analyst or even a few years out of college is pretty unlikely unless you're working in a market like New York. So in order to get to that level of pay, you usually need to make the next step to acquisitions manager or even a VP at some firms. Now, number 2, let's talk about experience. Now, on the brokerage side, you're going to get a ton of transaction experience, a ton of transaction volume. You're going to see so many deals, and you're going to be able to see multiple different companies and how they operate deals, how they make buy decisions, and how they make sell decisions. You're also going to learn how to sell, which is a really valuable skill set regardless of whether you stay in brokerage, go to the principal side, or leave real estate altogether. Now, on the principal side, you'll likely see deal volume, but it's probably not going to be at the level that you would see it in a brokerage role. Now, that said, you are going to be underwriting deals in more of a disciplined investment approach. So on the principal side, you're going to learn how to analyze an investment to really decide what that valuation should be based on return metrics that you're trying to hit. Whereas on the brokerage side, oftentimes you're going to be maximizing the value of the property, trying to maximize the sales price to ultimately make the seller happy and to maximize your commission. So if you're looking to do your own deals and you really want to know how to analyze real estate investments effectively and conservatively, and you really want to know how to buy profitable real estate deals, the principal side could be a great fit for you. Now, number 3 is exit opportunities. Now, in my opinion, assuming you're at a top tier brokerage like Eastdil Secured or HFF or CBRE, brokerage wins this hands down. And the reason why is because you have so much transaction volume under your belt. You've probably gone through a pretty rigorous training program, and you're going to have an expansive network of principals who you've either sold deals for in the past or you've met just through prospecting and networking. Now, another reason why your exit opportunities are so good is because oftentimes you'll end up going to work for a client. So if you do a great job as an analyst for a company that you're selling a deal for, ultimately they may come back to you when they have a need for an associate or an acquisitions manager and remember the work that you did and want to hire you on their team. In fact, that same situation happened to me, and it wouldn't have been possible without my job in brokerage. Now, on the principal side, your network is really more up to you. Now, your exit opportunities can still be great, but it's really up to you in order to get out there, join industry organizations, and ultimately build your own personal brand. Now, that said, as long as you built a solid skill set at your principal side job and your company has a solid reputation in the industry, you shouldn't have a problem transitioning to another company in a more senior role. Now, finally, let's talk about career trajectory. So where do you go in brokerage versus where do you go on the principal side? Well, in brokerage, your next step is producer. So you go from analyst, where you have a small base salary and then you make some commissions, to usually 100% commission based but your income potential is unlimited. So if you are a good broker in a market that sees a lot of transactions, making $500,000, $600,000, $700,000 is not uncommon at all for a real estate investment broker. And for the really good ones, making 7 figures plus is very achievable in real estate brokerage. Now in acquisitions, you'll likely have less of a downside and a higher base salary, but your upside will be capped. So usually you'll have a base salary and then bonuses on top of that based on your production for the year or your team's production for the year. So you have a little bit more downside protection, but you don't necessarily have that uncapped potential like you would in brokerage unless you start your own company. So which path is right for you? Well, first off, I'd say 2 things. You really can't go wrong with brokerage, especially when you work for a company like Eastil, HFF, CBRE, or even Jones Lang LaSalle, Cushman & Wakefield, as long as you're working on the technical skills and you're learning real estate underwriting and financial modeling. You'll see a ton of transaction volume, meet a ton of people, and have great exit opportunities when you decide to move on, whether you want to stay in brokerage and move to that production path, or you want to move to the principal side. Now, the next thing I'll say is that if you're looking to specifically hone your real estate investment acumen, your skills in finding profitable deals, the principal side can be a great place for you to go because you'll really learn how to make accurate and educated assumptions based and grounded in data so you maximize your probability for success on your deals. That said, if you decide to go this path, make sure you go to a shop where you're going to see a significant amount of transaction volume because that's really what matters most in the first few years of your career. Okay, so there you have it, the principal side versus the brokerage side and the differences between the two. I hope that was helpful if you're just starting your career or deciding where to go next. If you want to learn more about the technical skills you need to actually land a brokerage or a principal side job, definitely check out my courses. I have all of those linked in the description below. And if you want a free real estate financial modeling crash course, you can get instant access to that in the link in the description below as well. So if you're looking to build that real estate financial modeling foundation, I definitely recommend checking that out. So if you like this video, make sure to let me know by hitting that like button, subscribing to the channel, and sharing this with anyone who might find this helpful. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video.